review for the movie Amazon's new original film starring Chris Pratt, J.K. Simmons, and a smattering of others called The Tomorrow War. Now, this trailer came out 2 weeks ago, and then the first official trailer for this movie came out like a month or 2 months ago. And I saw this movie and was like, wow, Amazon, you're really going for it. Like big budget, blockbuster budget films. Uh, and they got the money, so they can obviously do it. And honestly, this movie looked good. It looked good. It looked kind of cool. The CGI was good, and I don't know because at the beginning it says Paramount, so I don't know if they bought it from Paramount for $250 million, or that's the budget that the movie costs. I don't know because Paramount was just selling a bunch of their movies to different streaming services. Uh, but this movie, $250 million budget, high starring actors like J.K. Simmons and Chris Pratt. J.K. Simmons is an Oscar winning actor. Chris Pratt is really hot right now. He's got obviously all the Marvel movies, the Jurassic movies, a bunch of movies, right? There's some other actors here, which I could definitely tomorrow the Tomorrow War, right? So there's a smattering of actors that I've seen in other movies and see the cast. Okay, Betty Gilpin, I believe that's how you say her name. She was in The Hunt. Jovan Travolsky, I know I've seen her, but I don't know where. J.K. Simmons, obviously. Mike Mitchell, I've seen him in other movies. Chris Pratt, Sam Richardson, Gator, I've seen him in other movies. This guy right here, Edwin Hodge, I believe he started out as a television actor. Oh, Mary Lynn, I remember her from Night School. Yeah, so I've seen all these actors before in some place or another. Uh, this movie, how to talk about this movie? This movie, it was so weird because it started out pretty strong. The first half an hour of the film is pretty much set up. They're setting up the characters, the wife character. They're setting up Chris's Pratt character and the beef that he has with his dad. You believe it. Uh, the child actor, this one right here, she's really good. So they pretty much set up the family dynamic. He's kind of a professor at a school, and he really wants to be like a all-time scientist. So they set up the family: Chris Pratt, Betty Lynn, and the daughter, and even J.K. when he comes out like 10 or 15 minutes later. They set up those four. Like, it's believable. It's a believable. Like, Betty Gilpin, great performance when she starts tearing up the little girl actor. She's really good, and Chris Pratt really, he's kind of stoic in this movie. He doesn't show a lot of emotion because he's like ex-military, so he acts really serious, and he has maybe one or two funny lines. I think the funniest part of the movie, this guy Sam Richardson is supposed to be like the comic relief. He's supposed to take Chris Pratt's place from other movies. But the only real joke that Chris Pratt tells is, spoilers, by the way. This is gonna be a full spoiler review. Is when he's talking to Slade Mitchell. Cool name, by the way, Slade. J.K. Simmons thinks that he has a wire. He splashes him. He's like, hey, they're gonna come out of your jeep. Yo, guys, we got him. Like, he does like one line, and it's funny. I played it back like twice because it was actually a funny line. J.K. Simmons is like that old, theorizing, old military war vet who doesn't trust the government or his own family. He's departed with him. Anyway, so the Tomorrow War, you got these people come from the future. There's a war with aliens, and they're taking people that are dead by the time the war happens and sending them to the future so they could fight that war. Chris Pratt is going to die in 7 years, so they decide to since he's ex-military, he gets selected pretty fast. Uh, uh, yeah, he asks for his dad's help to see if he can take off the chip or the band. He can, but then he gets all ucky ducky about his dad leaving him. He tells the joke that he leaves. His wife starts crying. He's like, I gotta go, or they're gonna kill us all. No, they're not gonna kill us, but imprison me, and then they're gonna send you, and Lily's gonna be all alone, the little girl. So they send him. They end up sending him. There's a basic training. Nothing ever happens in basic training. They just send these people to their death, pretty much. There's a malfunction that they never explain, and for some reason they say you're supposed to jump 5 feet from the ground, but they freaking get teleported like skyscrapers. And somehow Chris Pratt safely lands on a roof that has a pool on it, with maybe 20 other people land on the same pool. And hey, how about later? Thank you. And yeah, and then he takes that team. That's him, Sam Richardson, Edwin Hodge, and a smattering of others, and he leads this team uh, to a base where he gets in contact with the colonel. And I knew this was gonna happen. There's a line in this movie at the beginning of the film after he gets rejected from this job that he wanted, and he's like, "Man, I'm meant to do something special with my life." He says that in front of his child and his wife. That's gonna feel like shit for you to hear from your spouse. A little bit for me. If my wife said that to me and my child, I'd be like, Jesus, sorry that you have such a fucking ordinary life. Sorry, sweetie. But he says that line, and when he said it, I was like, at some point in the movie, he's gonna realize, like, he's gonna be like, oh, my best thing, the reason I'm here, what made my life special was my family. And he does. It's pretty predictable. He gets to the base, he fights a couple of, it's like a 20-minute war scene. Starts off in the building, he makes it out in the courtyard, then he goes to the highway, then he jumps from to try to save Mike and Mary Lynn. They both sacrifice themselves for no reason. They could have kept running, but they didn't, because the blast ended up being the same. But anyway, he wakes up after the blast. They told him to take some blue tubes, and the tubes have like toxins in them. When he gets to the base, the colonel greets him, and the colonel is his daughter. I knew that they were also gonna. It was predictable. I knew that the daughter he was gonna. I didn't know it was gonna be the colonel, but I knew at some point he was gonna see his daughter in the future, or at least his wife, like old. Anyway, they have this huge scene where they have to take the queen for some reason because they have toxins that don't affect the queens. The queens are limited. This movie borrows from a lot of other movies. It's like that reminded me a lot of Edge of Tomorrow, where they have these apex type level creatures, and not all of them can time travel, but those few ones that were on Earth could. Anyway, they grab it, they create the toxins, blah blah blah. Huge battle scene. She tells him he's the only one who can go back, create the toxin, and prevent this from all happening. We were never meant to survive. Just make sure this future never happens. Don't create paradoxes. Somehow. And this is where the movie, for me, went down. Because by then, I was like, okay, so the movie's still like a 7 or it's a strong 7, almost an 8. It's predictable, but it's fun. It's got these action scenes. It's fun. It's okay. It's a strong 7, almost an 8. If they can maybe do like this one huge battle at the end, which they did, and they have that one shot that was in all the trailers where he's falling. That was a great shot, CGI, but still a good shot. And then he comes back, and for some reason, the movie doesn't end. They keep going. And because the government doesn't want to help them create more toxins, because just create the toxins, bro. Okay, so Russia and all the world doesn't want to help you, doesn't want to let you into their country. Fine, just create the toxin, mass produce them, and then you have them. You, the US, whatever. If you want, you could disperse them. If you don't, then you don't have to. But at least do it. No, the government gets in a fit. They don't want to do it. So Chris Pratt figures out that they were the aliens for some reason. They were always here. They crash landed thousands of years ago, and they've been in the ice like the Thing for thousands of years until they get thawed out and they come into the surface. They go to Russia where they emerge. Somehow they find a ship. They get there because J.K. Simmons has planes and he can infiltrate other countries without getting detected by radar. I don't. And it's like 40 more minutes. Whatever, they find a ship. They create the toxins themselves. Alright? They never really use the big boxes. They pretty much find the ship in the middle of nowhere. They blow up the ship. They don't use the toxins. The only toxins they use is, for some reason, they find, like, the queen. And the queen is the problem. Because there's a whole colony of these things, but there's only one queen. Only the queen can create other queens. So instead of killing the queen first, they decide to kill every of the other ones around her and leave her for last. So they all start screaming, and obviously that wakes the queen up, and she escapes the ship, and she starts running in Russia. And I was like, just get the queen first with the toxin. No, they just decided to, hey, let's kill the henchmen. They seem more important for some reason. They find out that there's a whole colony. They have a lot of bombs on the ship, so they blow it up. This guy, Edwin Hodge, he had cancer, so he sacrificed himself. Okay, his character, I liked his character. This guy is with J.K. Simmons. They track the queen down. They kind of don't kill her, but these guys are like down. They're like incapacitated, and then they wake up like, oh, she went over there. And then there's this huge boss fight, this ridiculous boss fight between J.K. Simmons, Chris Pratt, and the Queen Alien. It is the most stupidest thing. Let me see if I can. Final fight. And I don't want to show it completely, but there's in a specific scene. See, here it is. There's in a specific scene in this fight where Chris Pratt is obviously far away. The queen is wounded. J.K. Simmons wants to sacrifice himself. He's like a good 15 feet from, they're a good 15 feet from each other right here, right? This guy's like more. This guy's like 6'7". He's tall. So this is 6 feet right here, and he's 6 feet. So there's a good 25, 30 feet between them and the queen, right? The queen gets mad. Jake, I don't know how he knew that they were attracted by blood, by the way. This is never explained. He just knows. So he just does this. He wants to sacrifice himself. Look how fast this thing is going. Bop, bop. Going fast. She can run like 30, let's say 30 miles per hour. All of a sudden, somehow, Chris Pratt runs just as fast as she does. 30 plus feet, jumps on top of her. By the way, he got shot in the leg with one of her spikes. But somehow he runs the 30 feet. She's almost at JK, so she's run at least 20 feet or something. Chris Pratt finds the way to run 30 feet with a wounded leg, jump on top of that goddamn alien, and finish her off himself. I don't know how. He just does it. He's Superman. All of a sudden, he got the jetpacks from Guardians of the Galaxy, and he gets to do it. And he freaking shakes her up. And they both survive, which is cool. I'm good with that. Most of the team died except Sam Gator. Somehow, they have this wide shot where he appears. He doesn't even have one of those snowmobiles, nothing. He just sits down next to him. He just walked all the way here. I don't know. And then the movie ends. And they're reconciled. They can meet his granddaughter. And in the end, he realizes that his family was his greatest treasure. And that his baby girl... By the way, his baby girl in the movie is an overachiever. Right? She has like 3 PhDs. She talks like 5 languages. She's a colonel in the army. She even says it like, there's a lot of people dead, so I hold a lot of titles more than just colonel. So she's probably the freaking president of the world. Who knows? She's the leader of the world. Like, she's the leader of the few humans that are left. She's the leader. She's the emperor. She's an overachiever, which is good. It's fine. But Chris Pratt, I really thought Chris Pratt's character was going to be like, man, my daughter's better than me. No, but he never does it. He talks to his daughter. He's always proud of her. And then by the end, that's when he realizes, oh, it's my baby girl. She's the reason that I'm here. Oh, and to save the world. I don't know if they ever recognized him for it. The government ends up taking most of the credit for it. A congressman, he'll probably become the president for that in the universe. I don't know if this movie didn't set up for a sequel. I don't know if I don't know if there was an end credit scene or anything, but it was like the Fast and the Furious of uh of sci-fi alien movies, action films. Literally. Yeah. There's literally a scene where J.K. Simmons is shooting the Queen from far away, and she's like running at him, and Chris Pratt literally like throws a snowmobile at her, like the perfect throw. Yeah, it was like the Fast and the Furious of sci-fi movies. It had some good parts, like it was going strong up until the moment when he came back, and I thought, okay, so they're just gonna mass produce the toxins. He's gonna be all depressed. He's gonna have PTSD, which he does. They explain that he has PTSD. I like the part when he gets home to see his daughter. He's like, they open the door, and he's like this. He's like, he's tense, and he's like watching his surroundings, like. And I like that. That's accurate. A lot of soldiers go through that in the real life. So I like that. I like that scene when he comes back, because they only come back for 7 days, and then they get brought back. Okay, yeah, that's it. if I can give it a rating, my wife told me I'm not watching that movie. So I just told her the whole thing, and she was like, I'm glad I didn't waste time watching it. I don't know why you watched it. I was like, I got a free time. I'm working from home. I put a movie on while I work, and there you go. You got this, and I got Amazon Prime. I got it, so obviously I'll watch it. Chris McKay. Who's Chris McKay? Give me a sec. Chris McKay. What movies have you made, my friend? No. Chris McKay. Did he do Passengers? Can I just see what movies he made? How about that? Movies list. Thank you, Google. Did he do the Lego movie? No. Maybe he was a producer or something. I don't fucking know. Ghost Draft. Ghost Draft. Okay, so this is the Tomorrow War. But they changed the name for Ghost Draft? Yeah, okay, whatever. They changed the name from Ghost Draft to Tomorrow War. So they were keeping it a secret? Dude, give me a fucking minute. Is he gonna direct the Nightwing movie? What? Primal Revenge Story. He is gonna... Okay. Anyway, that's it, guys. I thought it was fine. It really wasn't amazing. But, yeah. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll give it a 6. It's not amazing. It's not bad. There's good fights, but it just goes on for too long, and it has too many unbelievable things, and by the end of it, I just wanted it to end. I was just end. Just have a resolution. Thank you for watching the video.